This Ousmane Dembélé Ballon d'Or, it is for the streets, man. This Ousmane Dembélé Ballon d'Or, it is for the streets, and congratulations, congratulations, congratulations to him. From being rejected by Barcelona fans, from being rejected in that Barcelona team, they sent him away because he could not replicate the value. He was he broke the world record for 105 million. That move from Borussia Dortmund to FC Barcelona. And when he was at Barcelona, he did not replicate. They say value for money. He did not show the value for his man. So Barcelona, they sent him to PSG, and wow, what a turnaround, man. What a turnaround. From a Rene boy winning the League One Player of the Year, getting that big move to Borussia Dortmund, and at Borussia Dortmund, he was this electric young winger, this electric kid who scored in the DFB Pokal final in his first season, giving Borussia Dortmund a DFB Pokal. Then after that, clubs came knocking. I think Manchester United were there knocking, Barcelona were there knocking. I'm not sure for Real Madrid, but I'm even sure Real Madrid came there knocking, wanting the kid. But the kid, of course, going to Barcelona, it is a dream for everybody. He decides to go to Barcelona so that he can play with the best in the world. Neymar played there, Messi was there, the likes of Luis Suarez played there. Just good players played there. Even Ronaldinho, who gave him the Ballon d'Or tonight, played in FC Barcelona. So Ousmane Dembele goes there. And he does not work out as how he expected, man. Not good performances. Barcelona first started cursing him. Barcelona fans, racism is there in football, and it is a thing we have to address. I know Ousmane Dembele at Barcelona, he faced some racism that killed his mood, man, because well, he's a young kid who has moved from Rennes, his boyhood club, and has gone to Borussia Dortmund. At Borussia Dortmund is this electric yak winger. Then he gets a big money move. A big money move is in his bag, man. 105 million euros for the move from Borussia Dortmund to Barcelona. So obviously at Barcelona, when he does not show immediate impact, when he does not show those performance, they were always going to hurt the kid, and they were always going to have negative things to say about Ousmane Dembele. And it did not work well to him at Barcelona, man. I know there's that one season where he was the top assister in La Liga that year. But let's be real, man. At Barcelona, we saw like 20 or 30% on who Ousmane Dembele can be. We saw 30% on who Ousmane Dembele can be, man. But Luis Enrique believed in him. Kylian Mbappe advised him on coming to PSG. And also Nasser El Khafi showed him that belief. Look, come to PSG, you will be the man, man. And even at PSG in his first season, it was not always bread and butter in his first season. People were starting to fear, maybe it is just done for Ousmane Dembele. Maybe Ousmane Dembele is one of those players. He will be those players that streets will never forget, but he'll never cement himself in those legacy as one of the greatest wingers to ever live or one of the greatest attackers to ever live. Because at PSG, I think in his first season, it was not good, man. Because there was all those pressure from Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe was still there. He was viewed as the main man. Kylian Mbappe was like, if PSG one day will win the Champions League, it will be because of me. So, and we know what happened with Kylian Mbappe. He stays at PSG and he's like, look, I can never win this trophy here. My dream is to win the Ballon d'Or, and for me to win the Ballon d'Or, I have to win the Champions League. And PSG winning the Champions League, I can never win the Champions League at PSG. So he decides to get a move to one of the biggest clubs in the world, or arguably the biggest clubs in the world, Real Madrid. And the main guy who is left at PSG Football Club, it is Ousmane Dembele, and he carries that role very brilliantly, man. He carries PSG to their first ever Champions League trophy. Their first ever Champions League trophy. A guy who was brought there to become like a shadow of Kylian Mbappe because, well, when Kylian Mbappe is at the club, he's arguably the best attacker in your team. So Ousmane Dembele coming, although he says that Kylian Mbappe is the one who advised him in going to PSG, but he goes there. Obviously, when Kylian Mbappe is there, he will be under his shadow. He goes there at PSG. His first season does not work out. His second season, Kylian Mbappe leaves and he becomes the main man. And Kylian Mbappe leaving PSG to go to Real Madrid to win the trophy. Real Madrid, you know what happened? They were knocked out by Arsenal. And on the other hand, PSG, well, they were smashing it. And who was in the center of all that? Ousmane Dembele. So tonight, for me, it was just a confirmation that Ousmane Dembele was going to win it. It was just a confirmation that Ousmane Dembele was going to win. Injuries tried to ruin his career, man. Injuries knocked it down. I was looking at the injury history of Ousmane Dembele, man, in Wikipedia. Man, it is 2 pages. 2 pages of injuries, and they did not manage to knock Ousmane Dembele down, and he came back and won the Ballon d'Or, man. If Ousmane Dembele was knocked down like those with injuries and he came back and he won the biggest prize in football, that is enough motivation for everyone. That is enough motivation for everyone. Because from being viewed as well, there was this conversation that Kylian Mbappe or Ousmane Dembele, from being viewed that he will never win this conversation. Kylian Mbappe is the one who is always going to be better than Ousmane Dembele. To winning the Ballon d'Or ahead of him, just give him the respect, give him the mad respect he deserves, man, because it takes a lot of mentality, it takes a lot of hard work, it takes a lot of dedication, it takes a lot of support from his family. You could see that his brother was crying like a kid. Because in this life struggle, man, whatever you're doing in this life when you're struggling, the first people who see your struggle, it is usually your family, man. And shout out to get Scott and Gullit who called us man Dembele's mom on the stage, man, because wow, what a moment. They could not believe in me. They could not believe it that Ousmane has won the Ballon d'Or. After all those years of struggling, after all those years of suffering, you will see what it meant for PSG. Nasser El Khafi, this kid brought me the Champions League. You could see what it meant for the Parisians, man. The fans, the PSG fans in Paris, you could see what it meant for them, man. Because the award is in Paris and it is given to a kid who was born and raised in Paris. He started playing football in Paris. He started running with the ball in the streets of Paris. Now he has been awarded the biggest trophy, the biggest individual award in football in Paris, man. Wow. Just congratulations to Ousmane Dembele, and I think this should be a real motivation. And if his national team coach Didier Deschamps, he did a really good job in instilling that motivation and instilling that confidence in him. Because after that 2022 World Cup, what he did in that final, people were having Ousmane Dembele as like, there is no way this kid will make it back to the national team. Because in the first half, he's giving the penalty to Argentina. He was very bad in terms of defending against Di Maria in that game, man. He was very bad to an extent that Didier Deschamps decided to get him out, man. And when he was hooked in that game, people were having Ousmane Dembele career like, this is over. There is no way Ousmane Dembele is coming back from this one. There is no way Ousmane is coming back from this one. But guess what? Came back, he won the Ballon d'Or, and for Barcelona fans, they hated him because of this famous miss against Liverpool. Lionel Messi does all the work, just Ousmane Dembele with an open goal to score the goal, and Ousmane Dembele skies the ball, and Barcelona exits the Champions League. Although it was not entirely Ousmane Dembele's fault in that game, but if he could have scored that, maybe it will be in another game because Liverpool came back in that game from 3-0 down when the Barcelona leading at Camp Nou, and at Anfield they scored 3 goals, man. But well, this should be enough motivation for everybody in life, man. Life can knock you down. It can knock you down because Ousmane Dembele was knocked down with injuries. His fans from his country, France, Barcelona fans, the club he was playing for. These were all guys who were ganged up against Ousmane Dembele. But Kylian Mbappe told him what? Nasser El Khafi told him what? Luis Enrique told him what? Come to PSG and have time to revive your career. And look at where it has got him now. All Ousmane Dembele had to do was getting out of Barcelona so that he can go to another environment which was favorable for him, and it has won him the Ballon d'Or. This is like a life lesson, man. Sometimes where you are, maybe you feel like you are comfortable, maybe you feel like you are enjoying that moment, but in order for you to grow, you just have to take a little bit step higher. I'm not saying that in terms of Ousmane Dembele, if you ask him, Barcelona and PSG, he'll tell them I took a step higher. That's why it has gotten me this award and it has gotten me this Ballon d'Or. All in all, congratulations to Ousmane Dembele for winning it, and for Lamine Yamal, who came second. You are just 18 years, man. You are just 18 years, and maybe in the future you are going to win. You have a lot of time in football, not just like Ousmane Dembele is just 28 years old. You are 18. Ousmane Dembele is 10 years more than you. So between you and Ousmane Dembele, who is going to have a lot of chances in winning this award? It is you. And of course, if you put your head down and play football, stop all this bringing dwarfs to your parties, stop bringing constants to your parties, just focus on football, and maybe next year, the year after that, we're going to win this award.